I was talking to you guys and I was muted. Right on. Love that. Happy Monday, whatever day of the week you are watching this. Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? Check in, say hello. I see a lot of comments. Y'all are amazing. Like the stream if you haven't. And if you're brand new to my channel, my name is Erin Bees. I am a wife, a mom, a military veteran, and I spent 13 and a half years in multi-level marketing, healed my way out, and now I'm using all of my social media platforms to educate and raise awareness around the dangers of multi-level marketing companies and the tactics used by the reps. So if you would like to follow me on social media, at The Real Beast Mode on Instagram and Beast Mode LV on TikTok. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to talk about, oh, I love this. Every time you say your intro, I say it with you. I love that so much. Thank you. That's awesome. Good morning. Just woke up. Love that. Stream has been licked. Love that as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. And we're going to talk about Scentsy. And the reason that I want to talk about Scentsy is because I don't know if you guys saw my community post, but there was a legit small business that was overlooked for a vendor event because there were going to be Scentsy reps, or however you want to word that. And that pisses me off. I'm just going to be really honest with you guys. So under the community tab, if you want to look after this, I have included the link to their website. If you are willing and able to place an order, that's awesome. If not, feel free to just share the link out. I don't benefit in any way. I don't have like an affiliate link or anything like that. I simply just do not like these MLMs taking over the vendor events, taking over the craft shows. First of all, a multi-level marketing company is not a craft. It is not handcrafted. They shouldn't be at these events. That is for people that have spent the time and energy to make these beautiful crafts that they're super passionate about, and an MLM has no business in a place like that. So even if you just want to share it out, that's awesome. If you are able to place an order, that's cool too. I wanted to get the word out. And it just so happened that somebody also sent me this video that I'm going to be reacting to, which is quite interesting considering the claims that this person is making are not backed up by in any means, by any, how do I want to word that? In any way, there it is. By the income disclosure statement that is put out by Scentsy from 2021. So that's going to be interesting. Former Scentsy Hun here. I always pin the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Former Scentsy Hun here, also an artist. It annoyed me when Scentsy contractors were at craft fairs too. Yeah. Yep. Also, I'm glad that you got out. Yeah, LuLaRoe did this, probably still does this. They should not be allowed. How do they get in? Well, that's a great question. They apply more than likely, and then they send the money for the vendor event, the craft shows. So, yeah. I feel like at some point people should, or somebody should, maybe I will do a video on vendor events or craft shows and how it, like my experience with them, because I've done a lot of them in various MLMs. And I feel like maybe that's something that we need to talk about at some point. So I know, guys, I'm getting so close to 10,000. It's really, really exciting to watch the growth. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm just reading some of your comments before I get started. Yeah, Auntie Lushy says she went to vendor events for Pure Romance. I did for slumber parties. I don't think I did for Love Winks, actually. I was invited and I was like, no, you don't make any money doing that. It's not really worth, in my opinion, the time and energy and effort when it's an MLM. If it's a craft show and you are a crafter, I think that it's a very different situation. Do they identify as the MLM? Oftentimes, yeah. I've seen Paparazzi, Pure Romance, Herbalife. Yeah. Okay. Fun story. So and I'm going to be sharing his profile, his Instagram, in my Instagram stories here shortly, probably after this. But I was actually talking with a gym friend of mine that also goes to the same gym as me. And we were talking about all of the MLMs that some of his clients have mentioned to him. And I'm like, please tell me, you tell them no. I gave him the warning about Optavia, told him what was going on. He was familiar with Herbalife, and it was just a really cool conversation. So I don't know if he's going to watch this, but if he does, what's up, David? That was a cool combo. All right. Vendor organizers should not allow MLM. I agree completely. Oh, this is interesting. My sponsor mostly did craft shows. That's how she made the majority of her money. That's interesting. So my question is, knowing what some of these vendor events cost, knowing the stock that they specifically order for the vendor and all of the supplies, whether they're doing like giveaways, they have prizes, samples, booking specials for people to book parties, stuff like that. I would love to see like a profit and loss statement for that event, because I would venture to say that the majority of people, in my opinion, probably are not making anything. They're out the time, they're out the money, and essentially they've just advertised for Scentsy or whatever company they're with for free. Like they actually paid, and then if they broke even or lost money, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just interesting to me. Hey, Maya. I didn't make one sell, Jessica Bill Hart says. Yeah, I mean, if you had an experience in an MLM at a vendor event or craft show, feel free to share that with the chat, because I think it's important to talk about. Alex, whoops. Sheila says, yes, it works. Always wants you to sell wraps at any event you can. Yep. Yeah. Vendor events are similar to craft fairs. You have various businesses. MLMs like to get in there. It's, yeah. Also, I went to Tropical Cafe today. I don't get these very often. However, I really wanted the peanut paradise. I think it's called peanut paradise. It's like whey protein, a banana, peanut butter, all kinds of goodness. And I wanted the calories because I did leg day and I'm crazy hungry today. So highly suggest that I don't make any money off of sharing that with you guys. All right. Anyways, let's get this thing started. This is a video that was posted publicly, and I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know this person. I don't need to know this person. I'm not talking about who she is personally. I'm talking about what is going to come out of her mouth, specifically the tactics and methods that she is trying to get people to keep going and dangling, in my opinion, the carrot of, you can make six figures too. If I can, you can. And we just know that that's not the case. So I'm not talking about this person, like personally, how she looks or any of those things. I'm talking about what she's doing, because when you are claiming that you're going to help people, or that just giving tips on how you can make six figures, when that's not backed up from Scentsy's own income disclosure statement, and we all know that, but we're going to go over it. So just prepare yourselves for that. Oh, ridiculous. I love the island green and pea protein. Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, MLMers at farmers markets. What specifically are you farming people in an MLM? What? Like, yeah, I've seen all kinds of stuff. All right. Here we go. This is going to be the first, well, this is going to be the video that I'm going to be reacting to today, and then we'll talk about the income disclosure statement. This video is like 45 minutes long. Please don't go to this person's channel, this person's page, this person's anything. We don't need to comment. Like, you can leave your comments here. We can talk about it here. No ad hominem type fallacies. We don't need to talk about her looks or any of those things. She's a beautiful human being, and we're going to talk about what she is doing. So just want to throw that out there. If there's any mods on here and you see anything like that, please mute them. Please just, we're not going to do that here. And I haven't said that, I feel like, in a while. I just want to make it very, very clear. We're not doing that here. Okay, let's go.
Hello, everybody. I am super excited to be sharing this very long overdue part of my Scentsy journey with you guys. I'm going to be talking about how to build a six-figure income.
Appreciate you, Avery Jo.
With Scentsy. And I think this is very important because we don't talk about money enough. And I wanted to make sure that I had a video.
Also, I want to say that I'm blind reacting to this. You guys should know that. And the reason that people don't talk about money is because they can't. That would be an income claim. So technically, this entire video is an income claim, and I will be sending it, depending on what we see here, to the FTC as well. So,
video that could be recorded and on YouTube for years to come, so people can see what my journeys looked like, activities that I've done, so you can take them and do it your way. But again, I don't think that money is talked about enough. And, you know, money is something, especially for leaders, that could be critical to making or breaking you staying with Scentsy and that kind of thing. And so my name is Chloe, and I have been a consultant since November 2012. So it was just 10 years this past November 9th.
I don't know what year this was put out. I mean, I guess we could figure that out from what she just said, but 10 years.
To be exact. And I'm going to kind of walk you guys through really the activities, because that's how you build a business, is through your discipline and through your activities. But what activities I did then and what activities that I do now and what has changed, which is inevitable. And in a business, you should expect change and embrace change. And then I'm going to share with you guys things that I wish I knew then, because I've been doing this a really, really long time. And there's been so many incredible influences from Scentsy consultants, but there's also been ones that I took on or adapted to that were incredibly unbeneficial to my business. And so I think that's going to be key as you guys listen to what I've done, what I focused on, how I specifically focused on building leaders, those core values and those core concepts. And so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So joined November 9th, 2012, and I had just turned 22. So my husband and I had just gotten married that same year in October, the month before. And I had just started my job as a nurse. So I was a floor nurse. I worked at a hospital.
Shout out to all the nurses and medical peeps. We appreciate you. I feel like I say that a lot, but I feel like society can't say that enough, you know?
I did that 5.5 years. So the entire first, 5.5 years of my business, not only did I have a full-time job, but there were a lot of other things in between, which I'm going to talk about, because there are elements you have to make decisions in for your business, and you have to decide what the sacrifice is going to be so you can make that game plan and work that game plan so you can get there.
I'm sorry, I'm already laughing, but like, what are we talking about? I feel like I feel like she is speaking in vagueness. If vagueness were a language, this would be it. That's just my opinion.
A dream is just a dream. You have to put your feet to the pavement on it. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. So where was I at this time? Like I said, I was a new nurse. I had just...
I'm pausing this again. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with what we are watching, but did you guys know the WNBA draft is happening right now? I need to know who is going to pick up Aaliyah Boston and several other people. Alexis Morris. I'm not gonna say all the names, but just let me know if you guys are excited about it too, because I know you guys know I am.
Gotten married the month before I joined. I had no direct sales experience at all, none. No marketing experience, no leadership experience.
I'm sorry, you're a nurse. And I know that there are aspects of nursing that require leadership skills. I know that yeah, interesting. Also, she's identified how, in my opinion, her upline used to the things that her upline used, in my opinion, to manipulate her into joining. New wife, just started a new job. She probably, in my opinion, was struggling with, well, what is my new identity? We see this a lot with people that have had babies. And now they're like, well, I'm not just a woman, a man, a he, she, they. Now my role feels a little bit different, and so it's interesting to hear her use that in her story. Like, listen, if I can do it, you can. No, you're telling us how your leader, in my opinion, preyed on you. And she's probably preying on the same types of people, in my opinion.
Aside from a leadership course that I took in nursing school, but aside from that, this was way out of my element as far as knowledge went, which I think is really important to know, because when you embrace learning and you embrace difficulty and failure and change, and you learn to take that as a catalyst to do it better the next time, and to really take that as the failure is that next step to getting you to that target in your business or in your life, it can really be a game changer. And so the first 3 months of my business, I didn't sponsor anybody. I was really trying to, but again,
we're going right into recruiting. I mean, there's that. At least she's somewhat being honest about that part. She didn't talk about selling the product. She didn't talk about any of that. She was like, listen, I started a new job. I just got married, and I didn't recruit anybody for my first 3 months. Oh, I love it when they do this.
Again, I had never done this before, so I was very down on myself. And this is important because people have to understand what it takes to actually sponsor, okay? So I was having conversations every day for 3 months straight when I first started my business. And I actually remember wanting to quit because I was like, this is so much, I
want to talk about this. You will hear, just like we hear all different words for multi-level marketing, social retail, network marketing. What is it that Zip Slim is using? I can't remember what they're using. I'm sure you guys do. They do the same thing with recruiting. They don't call it recruiting. They call it team building. They call it sponsoring. They call it leadership. They call it everything except what it is, recruiting. And in my opinion, it's a way to disguise it. It's a way to say, I'm helping people start their own business. No, you're recruiting. But if they called it that, there would be major red flags. So they've got to get creative with some of the words, call it different things so that it seems a little bit easier. Also this right here, mentor, master distributor, upline, founding consultant, founding distributor, founding whatever word they're using for distributor. Again, another example, they call their distributors different things instead of just calling them a distributor, So they like to get creative. And I think it's because ultimately what they want to do is they want to build curiosity. So if they call themselves a social marketer, then you're going to think, well, what's that? And you might have questions. Social marketer is something that Modere uses, social retail, stuff like that. So ultimately, I think it's just to hide what they're doing and to build curiosity so that people ask them questions. It's a bait and switch, kind of, in my opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comments.
I have been having all these conversations. Nobody wants to join. Little did I know You know, now I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of repetition and a lot of consistency in order to sponsor, because
and a lot of manipulation. Yeah, in my opinion.
Sponsoring is something you do as a lifestyle. Sponsoring is not something you do to earn a pretty Scentsy bag or to earn an incentive. Sponsoring, when you are a like true heart, I'm in it leader, sponsoring is just who you are. And I didn't know that then. So guess what? I wanted to quit, but I didn't. And then February of 2013, I got my first frontline.
Sponsoring is who you are. You know how I used to kind of flip this, because I just talked about how they use all these different words, and I love the examples that you guys are putting in the comments, live chat. Y'all are amazing. Thank you for that. I used to say that recruiting is just another product. Yikes. But when you think about it, we know that the distributors are essentially the customers in many of these companies, maybe not all, but a lot. And so that being said, when you're presenting the opportunity, which is another way they talk about this, of course, and you're presenting it as to your team to get them to try and recruit as just another product, so that they feel a little bit more comfortable, trying to recruit somebody when they themselves probably are not making any money. Yikes.
Right away, I'm going to tell you guys some activities that I was doing. Nobody had to tell me to do team meetings. Nobody had to tell them to show them, tell me to show them the way. I knew immediately that if I wanted to help these people get to the next level, that I had to loop them in and build a community with them, share what I was doing, ask what they were doing. So I immediately, and I mean immediately, the month of February, did a team call.
Wait, remember at the beginning of this when she said she had 0 leadership skills? Sounds to me like she, at some point in her life, figured out how to lead. Don't you guys think? That's interesting how they go from my life was terrible. It was totally unfulfilled. I was so sad. I was so upset. I was so depressed. I was so whatever. And then all of a sudden they're like, and then I joined the MLM, and all of a sudden I became a top leader. I knew exactly how to guide my team, even though I had 0 skills before. And it's kind of like, you don't go from 0 to 60 in, 2.5 seconds. That's not how that works. I mean, in some vehicles, but not MLMs. See what I did there?
It was with free conference calling. Y'all don't know nothing about free conference call, because now we have Zoom and all these other things. But I did free conference call and just went over what was going on that month. And it was very simple, but also it got me into the rhythm of why it's important to be consistent with your team members, and why it's important to show up, not in a way to where you're going to sacrifice every single waking hour. That's called you need boundaries and business hours, which we will talk about in the what I wish I knew then now. But showing up for your team is critical. And so I immediately was showing up for my team. I was immediately doing sample nights. I was immediately doing, there wasn't a lot of Zoom stuff and recording stuff like this. A lot of it was
sample nights. Does anybody know what that is? I'm genuinely curious. Let me know in the comments if you do.
Was in person. And a lot of people like to say, well, we're in a digital world. People don't do that. You can do whatever you want to do in your business. If you want to have sample nights to get...
You can do whatever you want in your business as long as you're following the policies and procedures that the company says you must follow as a 1099 contracted employee. If you don't, they can terminate you at any time. Check the fine print. By the way, if you happen to be somebody that is looking at joining an MLM, I'm going to give you some really important advice. I know that some people are just going to join and it is what it is, but take that distributor agreement to a lawyer and have them look it over and explain it. The reason that I'm saying that is because I know we've talked about Optavia a lot lately, and we are going to continue to do that. But one of the things in Optavia's contract is that if you talk about Optavia on your social media platform, and you decide to get out, you get terminated, whatever. They own your social media platform. They own your page. They own your account because you spoke about Optavia on that social media platform, and it's in the fine print, but most people don't look at all the fine print, or if they do, they're like, I don't know what that means. Take it to a lawyer before you sign up. If that distributor that is trying to recruit you has a problem with that, that should be a red flag. Also, you guys know how I feel about MLMs. Don't join an MLM, but I am looking for somebody that can legally start to look over some of these contracts so that I can do a video on them. Other people can do videos on them, because I think that it's something that's not talked about a whole lot. And honestly, it needs to be talked about.
Your team together, you can do that, and it's going to build community. If you want to do paint nights or bowling or go out to dinner or do any of those things, it's going to build community and it's going to be intentional. And so, you know, just like how people say parties aren't dead, well, also building community and connection with your team is not dead. You can only go so far with social.
I bet a sample, what did she say? A sample something or other is where they all get on a Zoom and they make all their samples. Yeah, Jen said that. Okay, thanks, Jen. They get together and make samples and share the products amongst the other consultants. Okay, so if I have these scents, we're going to turn this into samples for everybody, and then you bring what you have, and you bring what you have, and you bring what you have. All of that comes out of that distributor's pocket. Thank you for clarifying that, Jen. I appreciate that.
Social media. So I didn't build my business with social media at all.
Yeah, most of them have clauses about being sued for cross recruiting. And I think the only, in some of them, not all of them, because keep in mind, every one of them is a little bit different, kind of like income disclosure statements. But there are some cases where you can recruit in the new company people that you personally recruited in the previous company. So yeah, they're all a little bit different.
I want to make sure that that is very clear. And so as I was working towards my first incentive, it was 2013. So yeah, my first full year. I went to SFR, and my first one, drove all the way to Indianapolis, had no idea what I was doing, but I wanted to go to an event. And so I went to the event and everything changed. This is why it is critical.
Everything changed because you were indoctrinated when you attended the event. That is my opinion. It is based on my experience from multiple company events, and even industry generic events, Eric Worre events. It's all about indoctrinating and pouring into, yes, I'm going to use their terms, pouring into people's beliefs that they're in the right place at the right time and they're doing the right thing. And even if it's hard, stick with it, because 10 years from now, you know, you could be earning 6-7 figures, you know, but it's a very small percentage of people in multi-level marketing that are actually making that. And the people that are making that, a lot of times, if they actually do a profit and loss statement, you're going to see that it just looks good on paper. They're not profiting that.
Critical that you go to events if you want to be a leader in Scentsy, if you want to take it seriously as a business in Scentsy. That first event changed my entire perception on what I thought life could be. I never thought that life could look different for me than where my life was at.
Exactly. Thank you for proving my point. You didn't think your life could look a certain way. You go to an event, all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, my eyes are open. I had no idea that this was even possible, because they dangle the carrot. They dangle the carrot from the stage. You see the top sellers, you see the top recruiters, you see these people that have been in for, you know, a million years, that have large teams. And they're like, oh my God, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm standing on the stage. I was just like you. I was sitting in the audience at my first event. I was sitting in the back. I didn't know anybody, you know, and I didn't know what I was doing here. And I was really uncomfortable, and I just kept writing notes. And then I, you know, got those little crumbs of, oh my God, this is amazing. I implemented it. Can you guys tell that I've been at a lot of these events? Like, come on. Her perception changed after she went to the event. that should be a red flag. And a lot of these companies, in my opinion, oh, Luna's here. You guys want to say hi to Luna? Hi, Mama. Well, come here. A lot of these events are really just filled with inspirational stories to keep people believing that they can do exactly what the people on stage are doing. There's not, in my opinion, a lot of actual business training. And they do product launches. Like typically you will see new products that are launched at these events. And why? Because the people that are there sometimes will get some sort of a special deal or a sneak peek, something or other. And then the company, they've already paid, the distributors have already paid to go to these events. And they traveled there, airfare, some of them drive, depending on where it's at, hotel, food, all of that stuff. They're already out of pocket so much money, especially if they're traveling internationally. And then you get to these events and they're selling tickets for the next event. They want you to buy that. I know Prove It does this. They want you to buy those tickets before you leave. They're typically a little bit discounted. On top of that, they have the new product launch. They'll probably bundle them up at a discount. Is anybody else like remembering some of this stuff if you were in an MLM? And then you also have like Prove It sells, they sell like merch with all of, which is a huge deal within the Prove It community. And so you'll go and you'll spend all kinds of money on different shirts and, you know, things that you're paying to advertise for the company. Oh, it's wild.
Now let me pull my chair up. There we go. Not in a bad way, but I just thought my family is in the medical field. I had a really
also this Scentsy calls their conventions family reunions, which feels extra creepy to me too. That is creepy. We're talking about a business. They're saying that this is your business. This is, you know, what you do, and you're here. It's a business event, and then they're calling it family reunions. Ugh. Love Wings does that too. They call it the Love Wings family and all kinds of stuff. Hopefully, I'll have some updates. I can't say anything yet, but hopefully, I'll have some updates on Love Wings. Hopefully, in the next few weeks. Stay tuned, because I think that there's some interesting things happening. That's all I can say about that right now.
Rough childhood. So I had already been under a significant amount of trauma and stress. And so I thought, I'm just going to be here as a nurse because I've worked so hard. So my mindset was no growth mindset before I went to my first event. I did not think that I...
Are you trying to villainize the nursing career field and saying that Scentsy is a better way? That's what we're going to do here? Hoy.
Could ever earn an incentive. I thought those were weird. I thought people that earned incentives in direct sales company, it was like, sorry, respectfully, like the Mary Kay car, like that was not the vibe for me. But when I went to my first event, it was just very, very different. And it had nothing to do with anybody special talking to me or meeting anybody. It was a decision I made. And I think that's important for you to understand.
Most of these events tell you to make a decision. Listen, you're one person away from completely changing your business. You just have to decide that today you are going to show up as a top recruiter. You just have to decide today that your business is going to change. You just have to decide today that you are going to make the changes that you need in order to leave that terrible job.
You have to stop waiting for someone else in Scentsy to validate you to get to that next level of your life, because it's your life. Nobody made that decision to go to SFR but me. I drove there with my husband, drove there. Okay. Like ate sandwiches, like we were broke, living on credit cards. And so I come back.
I feel like I just mentioned some of that. So they were broke, probably couldn't afford to go. So they drove, ate sandwiches because that was all they could afford. And they present it like this is a major sacrifice. But my question will always be, when these stories are presented, Okay, how did that benefit you financially after you attended the event? You spent how much, and how much did you gain from that event? Did you lose money? Because the majority of them do, but it's the same concept as, same kind of thing as front loading. And here's what I mean by that. When somebody is front loading, they have teams that are ordering all the new products or whatever, and that person is out that money unless they sell it. But who gets paid? The upline gets paid off of the front loading orders. And these events, in my opinion, are the same way, but for the company. So here you've made these huge sacrifices, like she's talking about, spent this money that they didn't have. And then for what? Well, you made a decision, but here we are 10 years in. When did you start making six figures, and how much did you spend over that time period to make those six figures? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look at the big picture of this. They present it like, you know, this is how it happened, and they leave out bits of their story, typically around recruiting, typically around the money that they're making off of their downline. And they're like, and now I'm making six figures. And it's like, I know that there's more to the story. They're lying by omission. And again, that's just my opinion, but yikes, man.
And I earn a top 100 trip to Greece. Never in a million years thought I could do that. My husband had never been outside of the country aside from when we went to Mexico for our honeymoon. And so
And how much in taxes did you pay on that from your 1099? Because these companies will put the tax on those giveaways, whether it's like free product, which is a huge thing, especially with like Love Winks, Pure Romance, a lot of companies like that, they put that free product, the free product credits and stuff like that, on your 1099, and you're paying taxes. But when you get your 1099, when you're in an MLM, it just shows a number. It just shows a dollar amount. It doesn't show, well, that's what, you know, this is what makes up that number. You have to ask for an itemized 1099 from the company. That's not something that is normally talked about. So these flexes, if you will, these dangling of these carrots of free trips and incentive trips and leadership trips, they're paying for the taxes on those. And many of them have no idea.
earned it. And I also got pregnant that December with my son. He's now 8. His name is Brody. Yes. And I went to Greece in 2014, pregnant, 27 weeks pregnant, went to Greece. It was a top 100 trip. And when I earned that, and it's not always about a goal for everybody, but for me, and this is important to understand, because I vocalized it and I said, I'm going to earn this trip, and I put my feet to the pavement, and I continued to do the 2 by 2 by 2, 2,000 a month, sponsor 2 a month, continue to do it for 2 years. That's just something I've continued.
2,000 a month, which I don't know the average volume on a Scentsy bar. Jen, if you know that, or anybody else that was in Scentsy, if you know that, like, I think that it's really, really important that we talk about that. So if somebody goes to their website, which they don't typically do, usually they are customers, in my opinion, will order from their stock. What do you have in stock? And you see the big pegboards that have all of the stock hanging up, and who knows how long it's been sitting there. Anyways, they don't typically go to the website. Customers don't typically go to the website to order. They typically reach out to distributors, in my opinion, to order whatever it is that they have in stock. And yeah, so I know I kind of went off on a tangent. However, I would love to know, for this incentive trip to Greece that she's talking about, if any of you know, let me know in the comments, you know, how did she earn that? Was it off of her personal sales, or was it off of her team sales, or a combination of both? Because if it's off of your team sales, if it's off of team volume or those types of things, the number of people that you recruited, is that really off of your efforts? I don't know. That seems a little weird. I know that the bars are like $5 or $6. But yeah, also 2,000 a month, 2 new team members every single month for 2 years. Jen says 2,000 a month, in volume gets you more money in commission. So it bumps you up so you get a bigger discount. Am I understanding that correctly, Jen? This obviously is not a comp plan video. I'm not going through Scentsy's comp plan, or I would probably be able to answer some of these questions. But commission on a bar, according to Jen, is $1.50. So if they're doing 2,000 in volume, let's say that all of that was ordered from the website. Let's just keep that math super easy. So if it's 2,000 and they're earning $1.50 per bar, 2,000 times $1.50. Wait, 2,000 divided by $1.50, excuse me. That's 1,300. So is that math right? 2,000. Anyways, I think you guys understand where I'm coming from. $1.50 commission on a bar that is $5 or $6 is a very small amount. So to sell 2,000 of that is a lot. If it's 2,000, that's a lot of bars that they have to sell in a month. Also, thank you for this, Tanya. I know I messed up that math, you guys. My brain is going a million miles, so feel free to correct me in the comments. Tanya says, much love, Erin. I shared on my Twitter. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I am on Twitter. I just don't do a whole lot. I will share quotes and stuff like that. Oh, I did get it. Okay. 2,000. Yep, you got it. 2,000 means you get 30%. Okay. So it increases your buying discount, which is how people, in my opinion, some of these leaders in this company are probably saying, hey, if you're so close to this next buying discount, like you're increasing your profit. If you place an order by the end of the month, or you have a party or whatever, you could bump up to that next commission level. When they bump up to that next commission level, what do you think they're going to be encouraged to do? Place an order so that they increase the amount that they can make from front loading. I mean, that's front loading. So
my whole career. But 2x2x2 was a lifestyle for me.
Okay, I knew that Aaliyah Boston, and thank you for the update, Rose, because I'm going to check. I knew she was going to go to the Indiana Fever because she Indiana Fever had the #1 pick. So I'm excited for her.
From the second I recruited the first person till today. We live in a culture where we think that we don't have to work to succeed. And the reality, especially in Scentsy, is that you cannot work in Scentsy. That's fine. You cannot build leaders. You can kind of do.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you for doing the math for me, because I know that I was butchering that. I appreciate you. I was just thinking about so many things all at once. All right. It would be 2,000 divided by 5, which equals 400 bars sold in that month. By the way, 400 bars is a lot. 400 times 1.5 is 600 in revenue. Now, let's kick this up a notch. You take that $600 in revenue. That's not necessarily profit, because we don't know what they're spending. But let's just take that 600 and let's treat it like it were revenue, like it were net profit for the month. It's not, but we're going to treat it as such. Okay, so that $600 for the month, what amount of time did they spend trying to sell those 400 bars? And if you take the time, if they were to track how much time they were actually spending on their business, they would be making pennies. But the company, through all of their social media posts, their lives, all of that stuff, is benefiting, with the advertising for pennies. So thank you for doing that math for me. I appreciate you.
Kind of front load parties and not do it other months. But the longer that you do that, the longer you're going to drift away from disciplined actions that are going to get you to a 6-figure income. 6-figure incomes in direct sales do not happen accidentally. They're actually very, very intentionally. And
what? 6-figure incomes in multi-level marketing don't happen by accident. Well, yeah, because you have to be intentional about recruiting. I got a message today. I'm going to read this. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you who it was or give any information, but I got this message today. Let me find it. one moment. Essentially, what this person was saying, I think they were in Q Sciences, and she lists the name of the leader, or they. I don't know if it's she, they, he, who knows. But they essentially, what they were saying was, one day this leader wrote to us in all caps, "Y'all need to get to work," and referred to the team as a fast food restaurant's employee, and said, "Do you think that the fast food makes itself?" They don't. And it was crazy because she unleashed on everybody on this platform, whatever they were communicating on. And right away, oh, it was a chat. Right away, 2 people left the chat. So this leader is ranting, probably because their income was going down, probably because, people weren't working like they wanted them to work. And so she went off on a rant in the team chat, it sounds like, and 2 people immediately left. Imagine being told that you own your own business. Hey, this is business training. You own your own business, time freedom, financial freedom, like all of that stuff. And then you're basically called a fast food employee. Nothing wrong with fast food employees, but when you have been recruited under the guise that it's your own business, and then you're being told that you're like a fast food employee, well, which is it? So you wanted people, and I know who this is, and I may feature this person, so I'm not going to talk about that, that individual here. But like, if you're recruited under the idea that you own your own business, and then you're treated like an employee, and then told to get to work because the fast food doesn't make itself, that's beyond insulting. Again, nothing against fast food workers at all, but it's the context of what is being said. This person, this leader, and I'm going to use air quotes every time I talk about these leaders, because that's not how you lead people. That's not how you treat people, especially when those people are dependent, like you're dependent on those people when you're in a multi-level marketing company to make the income that you're making. Because if you didn't have the team, you wouldn't be sitting here. For example, this video here, she wouldn't be making 6 figures if she didn't have a team. So to treat people like that, that's not leadership. That's like cosplaying leadership, in my opinion. Just absolutely disgusting.
I can bet that there's only a small percentage of consultants in every direct sale company that makes the 6-figure income, which is another reason why I want to do this video, because I want you guys to understand what it takes. And this video won't be for everybody, but it's going to be for the people that want to change their life and make a 6-figure income and see that it's possible. I want you guys to understand I have no background in sales and marketing and anything that I stated previously. And I also learned by error, by trial and by error. Okay. Again, your sense, that's all you need. Okay. So you don't need all these fancy things and all these, we're very distracted by social media, but what you need to do is bring the sense to work. Tell people they can get free Scentsy. There are hundreds and thousands of trainings on this, but, also in my first 5.5 years, every day I was watching some kind of training or learning something new,
Well, now you don't have to after your first 5.5 years, probably, in my opinion, because now you have a team. So you don't have to work as hard. We saw another Scentsy leader talk about that. I don't have to work as hard because I make these $30,000 paychecks, I think is what she said. And then she was like, well, I do have to work. I do have to work hard. And she caught herself, because when you have a large team, you don't have to work as hard typically, because you're making the majority of your money from the MLM off of the team. Oh, this is wild.
Seeing new tips on how to have verbiage to get party bookings, seeing party booking games,
Also
hostess coaching stuff. I wasn't looking on Facebook pages to steal someone's Canva image. I was the Canva image. And y'all need to understand that. You are your business card. Your face is your business card. Your testers are your employees. All that other stuff, it's cute. It looks good. I love marketing now. I love it. But that's not what's built my business. What built my business and what builds businesses and what continues to build my business is sponsoring to a month, 2000.
Oh my God. Did she really just say that quiet part out loud? The marketing is not what built her business. It was the sponsoring 2 people a month. I know she's going to go on to say the 2,000 a month, 2 recruits a month, and then for 2 years. But the example that she gave was 5.5 years. Oh my God. This is taking a turn very quickly. Also what Nicole said. She said the thing. She really did. I am the table. Yeah, she said it. Ma'am, it's not your business. Just like my friend Nick here says, okay? It's not your business. Also, I saw a comment somewhere where I think it was up here a little bit, but they said, how do they not realize that they're not a business owner when they get a 1099? I don't know. I don't know. This is so fascinating that she's saying this. Thank you for putting this video out because you're proving everything that we talk about in the anti-MLM movement.
In sales a month indefinitely for me. So a couple things that definitely were huge in my last 10 years and
Recruiting.
that were always like the groundwork of me being as sane as I could be. But what really helped me the most was I had a really strong grounded faith. So I'm a believer. And
spiritual manipulation. Here we go. All right, Jesus, let's flip these tables. Let's go, my guy.
And
my God.
I just really, my team name is based out of Hebrews 6:19. I believe that God has given me this business. It's it's up to me to steward it and to learn and to grow and to do all those things. So
to all the Christians in the chat, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that she is using Christianity to try and justify the money that she's making off of her team. I'm sorry. I know that it's not my job. It's not my place to apologize, but I'm going to because this is offensive. Every time there is spiritual manipulation like this, I know I'm waving my cup a lot, but you know what? It is what it is. I need to finish this. It's delicious. And yeah, I cannot stand spiritual manipulation. When you are using somebody's religion, somebody's spirituality to try and justify the bottom line of you getting paid the majority of the money off of your team, and then you're naming your team after scripture. Oh my God. I feel like flipping tables right now. Anybody else?
I've always been very grounded in that because without him, I would have left a long time ago. And discipline over motivation. Motivation is the biggest lie somebody will tell you. Do not listen to anybody who tells you that in order to be successful, you need to be motivated, because I am telling you right now, there have been 10 times the amount of days when I was not motivated, but I was disciplined. I knew what I wanted to get, out of this business and where I wanted my life to be. I could see it. I could visualize it. So no feeling or no bad sale or no like flopped party or someone who joined and didn't do anything. Those didn't matter to me and still don't matter to me because I'm always focused on.
We need a break. Why did she do this? Ma'am, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Let's not put our paws too close to my mouth. Okay, everybody, this is Luna, in case you didn't know. Are you good? Yeah, okay. You just needed some attention? That's fine. It's cool. My people love it. All right, see you later. That was all she wanted. That felt much better. All right, let's go.
On what's ahead. I'm always looking out of the windshield. I'm not looking in the rear view mirror. So I think that's really, really important because discipline is going to get you to do those really big, scary, fundamental things in repetition. And it doesn't mean you're not going to be scared. I still get very, very nervous whenever I'm training somebody that I don't know. I get nervous when I do home parties. I get nervous with new customers. But nerves are not always a bad thing. Okay, getting uncomfortable is really important. And then the last thing that I really have always focused on in my business is letting my business tell me what to do. Okay, what does that mean? So that means whenever I go to work and do what I need to do for my business, I'm looking at sales, sponsoring, and leadership. Those 3 tiers. Okay.
2 of which are based off of a team: recruiting, and what did she say? Leadership. Because, you know, you got to motivate your people so they keep working. Oh my God.
So if I'm looking at PRV and I would see it's mid-month right now, for me, my personal goal now is always 4,000 a month. So for me, I'm looking at today, 16th, and I'm like, okay, am I at 2,000? Because that's where I want to be this month. Okay, let's move over to sponsoring now. I said my goal was 2 this month. I just got 2 as of yesterday, but I need to see where they're at with their business. Do they want to do launch parties? How can I help them succeed? Are they going to be kind of in, kind of out? Where are they going to be as consultants? And number 3, where is leadership? Who am I looking at? Who am I working with? Leadership comes from PRV and sponsoring. You're not going to have the leaders to build if you're not selling and you're not recruiting. And I think this is key because so many people get focused on their team of 13 people. And listen, my first year until I went to SFR, I was a star consultant and I had 13 people, literally.
She really is saying all the quiet parts out loud. Luna, I'm with you. Did you guys hear Luna?
And I would focus so much on them and so much on them. But then I went to reunion and I was like, dude, I need to build me's. I need to build people like me. I need to teach people how to sponsor like me. So the conversation was different.
Well, of course the conversation is different because you can't rank up in most of these companies unless the people that you are recruiting are also recruiting. Wow. Also what Avery Joe said, Luna doesn't like it either. She's not a fan. Not one bit.
The conversation with those team members was not just, hey, here's how you can sell this month. Here's a little challenge we're doing with our team. It was, hey, I believe in you and I see something in you. I can help you get there. Let's talk about sponsoring if you want to do that. And I'll tell you what I do. Now I'm going to talk about at the end of this training some different things that I am going to implement now after 10 years in leadership because I've done a lot and I've learned a lot. But it comes down to your PRV, your sponsoring, and your leadership. It's that simple. We are overcomplicating it. And if you're saying you don't have customers, you don't have parties, and you're not getting out and meeting people. You're not going to be able to just build a massive, huge business by not having conversations with people. It's not going to happen. And by not having conversations with your team and by not going out ahead of them and doing the things that you're asking them to do. Being a real authentic leader who works really, 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 really hard. Okay. And so 2012 to 2016, like I said, social media wasn't a thing. Okay. And so I was very focused on home parties. I did a lot of home parties. They were always themed. Okay. I switched now more to bag parties, and I'm also going to get into more events as well. But my main bread and butter, where I found a lot of customers, was home parties. And then also I took bag parties to work. My goal was 6 to 8 a month parties, period.
So she took her Scentsy bag party to work at the hospital. Just let that sink in. Oh my God.
Period. Because I wanted to recruit some of those people. So a lot of these things that I'm saying now, they're not much different today. If you implement.
She keeps saying the quiet part out loud. She didn't Jen, precisely, LOL. Yes, we know, because you wouldn't be making the money you are or say that you are unless you had a team. I wanted to recruit those people. We know.
Limited 6 to 8 parties a month, 2,000 PRV a month, two recruits a month, and you focused on leadership and building a community and having consistent trainings and connection points and sample nights and one-on-ones and helping people understand the compensation plan, you're going to build a wealthy business, but you have to do it consistently.
Ew.
not just on the third Friday of the month because you feel like it. That's not how wealth is built. It's not built off of feelings. I can tell you that right now. If wealth in this business was built off of feelings, I would have left the first time somebody made me cry. And y'all need to understand that, because you will get upset in this business. Things will happen. You know why? Because most of you have never done this before. But that's where you have to grow your discipline muscle, and you get on YouTube and you train yourself in areas of weakness that you are going to get strong in. I have always been in my business disciplined to the sense of, if I see someone is doing something and it's really working for them, and if I have weighed out my options and I'm like, I think I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do that, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And change also has to happen as time evolves and as the years change.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. Such a profound statement. I hate that statement. I think it is just used to manipulate people to do what they want them to do.
So things that worked for me before, because now I've been home for 4 years now, 5 years now, it's not going to work the same now. But the core is meeting people, sponsoring, and selling, and having a goal for that. My goals are always written.
Notice the order change? Meeting people, sponsoring, and selling. Yeah, emphasis on meeting people and recruiting. We're going to call it recruiting, not sponsoring. Okay. And then you also need to have the sales. The emphasis is on recruiting. It always is. Also, Nick says this training is trash. I'm just saying. That's just what Nick is saying, you know.
And down every single month. Every single month. That's discipline. I know what I'm going to do every day. That's discipline. My business tells me what to do. I do certain things on days of the week. You don't have to do that, but if you were scattered in your business, I highly recommend you get a focus point, because if you're not 100% focusing on PRV and then 100% focusing on sponsoring and then 100% focusing on leadership, you're going to struggle. You can't do all three of those things at one time. You have to break it up. All right. So I also built my business on a lot of one-on-one sniff sessions. I would do order jobs.
Imagine calling a meetup with a potential customer as a sniff session. What? A sniff session. That's embarrassing.
Drop-offs and meet for coffee. I mean, it's a grind. I'm going to be really honest. You have to stop being a soft consultant and a soft leader, and you have to get to work. That is.
First of all, welcome, welcome, Jen. Thank you so much for joining, becoming a member. That's awesome. Imagine thinking leadership is calling your people soft. The people that you're getting paid off of. She really thinks she's doing something with this train. I'm embarrassed for her.
How you build a business is by working when the doors are closed. Making a sacrifice. There were 2.5 years where I would go home, put my son to bed if he wasn't already in bed, kiss my husband, and go upstairs and work and do what I needed to do. I would wake up early. I was working 13-hour shifts. I'd wake up early and I'd get bag parties ready to give to people at work. I would run bag parties to people on my lunch break. I would pick them up on my lunch break. By lunch break, I mean 12 minutes you got to eat when you were a floor nurse. And that also includes peeing. And not once, and even now, I don't complain. So you have to also stop.
Ma'am, even now I don't complain. It's the pockets of time for me. Wow. I feel like her saying, listen, I used to do this when I had 12 minutes for lunch, which nurses, medical people, they definitely need more time. But I could talk about that forever. Anyways, I see you guys and I'm grateful for you. I feel like the only reason she's bringing that up is like, listen, this is how hard I worked. Y'all are not working hard enough. And she's trying to shame these leaders into working harder because maybe people have life stuff going on, you know, just because that's what she did, that expectation that she's trying to put on her team is only going to set her up for failure. You can't put your expectations on other people. That's so weird to me. Also, can we normalize when we don't like something and we're venting and not say, well, you know, like, because of this comment, not complaining is so toxic. Life is hard and you need to express that. Yeah. And, you know, when a lot of these people in MLMs, everything has to be covered in toxic positivity, you know, and we see it all the time. Like think of some of these top leaders in these companies, you know, they could be going through the worst things in their personal life and they get on live and they're like, no, everything's great. I feel fantastic. And we're like, it's okay to be human. It's okay to express emotions. It's okay to phone a friend. It's okay to say, I don't feel like posting on social media because I'm not having a good day, or I don't feel good, or I'm struggling with whatever it is that people are struggling with in that moment. Like that's okay to express that stuff. But when you're in an MLM, everything has to be toxically positive, or you're just negative. You're just a negative Nancy. Yikes.
Stop complaining and make a decision that if you don't like where your sales are, nobody's going to change that but you, sis.
Oh,
if you don't like the fact that you're not.
See now, like that's not necessary. Nobody's going to change that but you, sis. We don't like that. I don't like that. Let me just speak for myself. You guys you can drop your comments. That's very condescending. You're talking about somebody like if you don't like your sales, nobody's gonna change that but you, sis. That's gross. That's gross. And also that's not leadership.
Recruiting, sadly, like quit crying about it and learn a different way to do it.
It's giving Kim Kardashian saying to get off your butt and go to work. Let's not do that. That's gross. We don't like that. Ugh. Andy's Web, thank you so much for this. Can you imagine if people use this roundabout way of talking about other crimes? Oh no, officer, I wasn't laundering money. I merely offer a service to wash people's dirty currency. Can you imagine? That would be nuts.
Grow your network. How many home parties have you had? How many events are you in? How are you meeting anybody new? How are you meeting anybody new? You cannot expect to sponsor and you cannot expect to have sales without meeting new people every month. And by new, I don't mean 2 new people a month. I mean 15 to 20 new people a month. By really getting yourself out there, and home parties, bag parties, those events, that's how you're going to meet people. So I left nursing in 2018. And before I left nursing, though, I promoted to SSD in 2015. So 3 years later, I promoted. I double promoted. I went from star director in October to SSD in November. So I promoted to SSD the same month that
you promoted, but I guarantee you that you couldn't have promoted without your team.
I had joined in November. And I was still a nurse. I didn't leave till 2018. So I'm working my business as a SSD. But this is where it changed for me with leadership. And this is where I began to see how to really build wealth and what that looked like. Because you're not going to build wealth. And I will die on this hill in direct sales. You're not going to build wealth by just having great sales. You're not. And I know that because I see the breakdown of my paycheck. You're not going to grow wealth by just recruiting people and putting them on a team page. You've got to lead them to water. You've got to give them the tools, encourage them, show them the possibilities. And so
dangle that carrot. So they keep working. So they keep front loading. So they get to the next event. You know what this is giving? This is giving when a team member reaches out and says, hey, I need help with this. And she responds with, well, when was the last training you attended? When was the last event you attended? Oh, you haven't? Yeah, you're not taking your business seriously. That's what this is giving to me. I'm probably going to have to make that into a reel or a short. Yeah. What are we at? 2320?
When I promoted, though, I was not paid at title that first year. And it is because I'm going to go ahead and say this. I am a recovering people pleaser. I am a recovering yes girl. I used to say yes to everything. I used to people please all the time, feel bad all the time. Very, very, very bad trait to have when you're a leader, right? But I wanted everybody to be happy, and I wanted this and I wanted that. Not sustainable, not duplicatable, kept doing it. But I wasn't paid at title the first year. You know why? Because I was just focused on the 4 directors that I had to get to SSD and trying to save them to get them to get paid at title. Mind you, only one.
Trying to save them? Why would you need to save them if it's their own business? That doesn't really add up with your story. Savannah, what's up? Savannah says, I thought if you weren't a yes girl, you're not coachable. Right. That part. Also, save them. Auntie Lushy says, so stacking. Yeah. Wow, this is a wild ride here.
One of those 4 directors is still in Scentsy today under me. Her name's Heather Bullock. She's the only one that stayed. The other 3 that
Heather, get out. You're in a cult. Call your dad.
I was trying to save.
But for real.
That time was wasted trying to save them when I could have been building new lead stars and superstars. So after that first year in 2016, I was like, I am not doing this. I am not saving these grown women. I am not going to keep listening to their problems respectfully because I'm.
Oh, but you sure are going to collect a check off of their sales and their recruiting, aren't you? Yeah, you are. Wow.
Not. This is not an emotion business. I have learned that very clearly over the past year. You must take emotions out.
No. Owning your own business is emotional. Anything in sales is emotional. You have ups, you have downs, and you have feelings associated with all of that. And that's a very normal human experience. If you're removing emotions, it's because people, in my opinion, are not ranking up how you want them to, so you can rank up. Oh man. I think when you remove emotions, that's a red flag. Sales, any kind of sales job is very challenging. Sales are, again, it's a lot of ups and downs, and that's a normal part of it. So and also this is an unfortunate pause. Like, why are her eyes so wild? And that's just my opinion. Like when I say wild, let me explain what I mean. I can remember times when I was in an MLM that something would happen. I would get a message and it was like, I would go live and I had this like intensity about me, and you could see it in my eyes. And I feel like I'm seeing that same thing in her. It's not me making comments about her features or anything like that, and making fun of her in any way. I'm just saying, like, there's this wildness about her eyes. Like she is just, maybe she's frustrated about something. I don't know, but I identify with that because I used to do that too.
You don't need to be friends with these people. You're here to be a mentor.
I love you.
You're here to give them the tools. You're here to show up. You're here to work hard. That's it. Okay. So I was like, okay, I think I need to start talking to people one-on-one. Hence, coaching calls were born. They used to be called AIM. If any of you have been here for a long time, first started the program and called it AIM, and it was aiming to help them promote. That was the focus behind that program. Then Coach the Coach.
Yeah. And why do you need them to promote? You need them to promote so that you can promote. So you're painting it like I'm trying to help these people, but really you're just trying to help yourself. We see it all the time.
Right? Now there's text coachings that I've implemented the past year and a half, and there's different ways you can do it. But the bottom line of leadership is helping people past certified. If you looked right now at yourself as a leader, say you're a star or a superstar or a director, I would love to know how many frontline lead stars, superstars, and director you have under you frontline. Because the focus has to be, as a leader, in building yous, in building people to get where you're at. And not only that, y'all know what my other goal has always been with you guys? To help you do it better and quicker. And I'll die on that hill too. Because that's always been.
You'll die on that hill? Oh my God. Yet again. More of that quiet part out loud.
My goal is to help you guys evolve and do it quicker and do it better and do it really on your
also, I just did a quick Google search. I don't know what year this is from, but it says, according to the Scentsy comp plan, once you sell 1,000 PRV, you're certified for life. So when she's talking about frontline certified or however she worded that, that means that the people that she recruited are selling or have sold 1,000 in volume. So could that be front loading? Could that be, hey, you've got to have stuff to show at your party? You know, you want to enhance your kit this way? Sure, it could. Could it be personal use? Sure, it could. It doesn't necessarily mean it's coming from customers. That's just my opinion.
Time. Do it your way. Okay? And so I really started.
Do it your way, but this whole time you've been talking about you want them to do it your way. Oh, we know that these leaders in MLM, the second that you question, the second that you're like, I'd like to do things a different way, they don't like that. They do not like that, because that means that you're using some sort of critical thinking. You're questioning what they're doing and how they're doing it. And maybe you don't like it. Maybe you're like, this doesn't feel right to me. I don't want to recruit or whatever. You're questioning them. They don't like that.
Focusing on coachings and on one-on-ones. Did not have enough boundaries though in that. And so we'll talk about that in a minute, but didn't have enough boundaries in that, but I was coaching a lot. A lot of people were promoting. It was a really great time. This went on until really 2019. So from 2016 to 2019, for 3 solid years, my coaching went up. Leadership went way up. Okay. This leadership page cranked up, leadership calls on this page cranked up. Everything really, really, really became very focused on how can I help them get to that next level, and how can I help them learn how to sponsor. And
do you know why that probably happened? From 2016 to 2019 is when a lot of people in multi-level marketing started to use social media, started to go live, started to do product lives, opportunity lives. This is also an unfortunate pause. Yikes. That's probably why there was an increase in her team promoting, because they were using social media for the first time, probably. I'd love to know what your team is doing now. I would love to know what the last 4 years have looked like since 2019. I'm sure she's going to tell us, but.
Learn how to have consistent sales and earn annual sales and earn annual mentor. So it became like a passion of mine to help people have different lives, because Scentsy changed my life. So again, you as a leader have to know the way and go the way.
And show the way. Don't forget that part of the quote. I know that one too.
Before you show the way. And I knew how to teach them how to do it because I did it. And
did I mention that I'm blind reacting to this? Did I mention that? I don't know. I got a really interesting message about Tupperware earlier today and their financials. And it's not looking so great for Tupperware, unfortunately, which is probably why they started selling at Target. you know, yeah. Yikes for them.
And that's key. You have to be the one that's leading the way. You have to be the one to say, you know what? I am going to promote to director. And not only am I going to promote to director, but I'm bringing a director with me. I'm bringing leads with me and stars with me and superstars. I wish somebody told me that when I promoted to superstar director. But you know what everybody says? Get 4 directors. No, you need 6 directors when you promote to SSD because 2 of them are going to be gone in a year.
Yeah. And why is that? Just pause. Just ask yourself, why do I need 6 directors? Why are 2 out of the 6 going to leave, which is a third, 33.333%? Why is that? Oh, it's because there is a high turnover rate in multi-level marketing because they realize, in my opinion, that one, they're not going to make a whole lot of money, and that whole lot of money, they have to work crazy hard, put in lots and lots of hours. And when I say lots of hours, I mean, you're working 24/7. You're meeting new people and you're filtering them into, you're either going to be a customer or you're going to be a distributor. You are on team Zooms. You are on all kinds of stuff, managing social media and like all of this stuff. They probably realize it's not worth their time. They probably, maybe, realize that the team that they have recruited into the company, that they're not making money and that they're doing the same things that you are to their team, which encourages, in my opinion, front loading, which encourages, listen, just do this for 2 years, 2,000 in volume, 2 recruits every single month for 2 years. It's unsustainable. And people's time is worth more than the chump change that is listed as shown, and we'll see here shortly, on their income disclosure statement. People, they're worth more. They're worth way more than that. They're far too valuable to be not getting paid for their time. It's not worth it. And she seems real mad. If you're in this person's downline, you should probably get out. That's just my opinion. But this isn't leadership. She's shaming. She's using spiritual manipulation. Like, this is not it.
You need 4 when you promote to star director, or at least 3, and 1's on the way. Constant building of leaders is critical.
Constant recruiting.
If you want to build wealth, financial freedom. I'm not going to sugarcoat this because the income disclosure will be on it. If you want to build financial freedom, you have got to get up and lead.
I feel like now's a good time to maybe look at the income disclosure statement that she's referring to as financial freedom, because that's not it. I'm going to make it as big as I can. Let me know if you guys can see this. Right. Savannah just comments and said, all this for wax melts. All this for wax melts. Let's look at this income disclosure statement. All right. Let's start with the fine print. I think that that's the most important area to start with. It says on the bottom, I know it's going to be small for you guys. The average annual commissions was calculated by dividing the total commission paid in each group. They have it separated into group 1 and group 2. I'll explain that in a second. Total number of consultants in that category. Half of consultants earned more. Listen to this word salad. Drop a salad emoji in the comments. Half of consultants earned more than the median annual commissions, while the other half of consultants earned less than the median. Yeah, that's typically how a median works. It's the midline. These amounts reflect cash distributions only and do not include product credit that probably goes on their 1099 that they're paying tax on, or other non-cash awards such as incentive trips, which also goes on that 1099 that they're paying tax on. The amounts above reflect gross profits and do not include any business expenses. Business expenses could be, look at all the salads in the comments. Y'all are amazing. That could be front loading. That could be the pegboard that we see that they put their supplies on. That could be the little plastic bags. That could be whatever they're putting the samples in. That could be supplies for the parties, the vendor events, all of that stuff. Going to actual events. Maybe they need a new computer. Maybe they need a new phone or whatever. All of that those are all expenses that are not listed on this. And I'm telling you guys that because it's really important that if you're brand new to my channel, these numbers are absolutely horrible on this income disclosure statement. So when you're looking at it and saying, well, this is gross, this is before any expenses, then you can grasp how terrible these numbers are. Okay. The amounts above reflect gross profits, do not include any business expenses consultants may have incurred in running their business. Okay, I love all the vegetables. We love vegetables here. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Independent consultants earned between 10 and 36% commissions and bonuses on personal sales and may be eligible for leadership bonuses based on their team's sales. The chart below shows how independent Scentsy consultants in the United States performed on average, although the median is listed here, and I really do appreciate that, in 2021. As with any business endeavor, a consultant's success will be a direct result of the time and effort they devote to selling the product and leading a team. Notice they didn't mention recruiting or sponsoring. Isn't that interesting? The earnings below represent commissions that Scentsy actually paid to consultants in 2021. Why did they need to put, maybe I'm nitpicking, but like, why do you need to specify actually paid as in the income disclosure statement? Anyways, we have divided our consultants into two groups for this disclosure. Group 1 consists of consultants who are with Scentsy for all 12 months of 2021. Group 2 consists of consultants who were with Scentsy for less than 12 months in 2021, including those who joined Scentsy for the first time and those who left Scentsy either due to inactivity or for other reasons. I cannot. Scentsy, are you okay? This is terrible. Let's look at the numbers. All right, so group 1, number of consultants, 59,736. These are people that were in all 12 months. Okay, process that for a second. 59,736. Group 2 are the people that didn't stay the whole 12 months. 152,021 people. So 2/3, according to these numbers, 2/3, roughly. Yeah. Minimum annual commissions for group 1, annual commissions was $133. So these people stayed in for 12 months and the minimum annual commissions was $133. The maximum for group 1 that stayed in all 12 months was 1.311 million. Group 2, the minimum annual commissions, $0. The maximum was $71,510. Okay. The average annual commissions for group 1, people that were in all 12 months of 2021, was $2,925. Group 2, that didn't stay in 12 months, average annual commissions was $300. This is where it really says a whole lot. The median annual commissions, which is literally the midline, they have all of these consultants, the majority of them. Yeah, group 1 is the bigger uplines. Absolutely, Sheila Hawk. You have all of these people. The majority of them are not making any money. And then you have the people that are making the most money that all these people are under, right? And the midline is literally the middle. The actual middle of all of these distributors in the company. And for group 1, the median annual commissions was $1,022. They're not even making $100 a month. And this is gross income. Let's not forget, this is not net. This is gross. It is gross. See what I did there? Okay. Group 2, $152 for the year, median annual commissions. Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to share that with you guys because I think that that is absolutely horrible. Those numbers are terrible. It's no wonder people were leaving. And then in addition to that, people were, you know, probably, in my opinion, pressured to front load. They were pressured, you know, to get all these extra supplies. And the majority of group 2, if not all of them, were probably in the hole just looking at these numbers. All right, back to the video.
Quit showing up to your leaders' leadership calls and do your own. Build that community. Build it behind closed doors. Good Lord.
Hey,
Help
Karina.
them. Text them. Show them the way without dragging them. Identify the right people to work with. When I identify who I'm going to work with, and I've taken a long break on coaching calls. So when I go back to them next month, I'm going to be very intentional. And guess what? It always starts with my front line. I'm not going to coach somebody 10 down from me before my own front line. That doesn't even make sense. So you also have to look at when you're identifying who you're going to work with, you need to first look at your front line. And if you don't have front line to work with, the second thing I want you to look at is your sponsoring. Because if you have no one to work with, I want to know what your sponsoring's been the past 6 months. That's why consistent sponsoring is key as a leader. You have no idea.
Yeah. I'm not going to use the word leader, though. I'm going to say in order to rank up, you have to consistently recruit. Yeah. Yeah. That's why we have a problem with MLMs. And when I say we, I mean the anti-MLM movement is the emphasis on recruiting versus the emphasis on selling a product.
Where that person is going to be. You're one person away from changing your entire business. Okay. And so constant building of leaders at each level is critical. When you're a star director, you're focused on building multiple directors and you're building a star director under you. When you're an SSD, you're continuing to not just build directors now, but now you're building second and thirds. Do y'all understand? Do y'all know the comp plan? The comp plan is key. You have to understand the compensation plan. So you can explain it to someone who wants to get to lead. So you can explain it to someone who wants to get to start.
They try to make it seem like you have to be this comp plan expert. No, you just have to recruit people and get them recruiting people and maybe sell a little tiny bit of product. That's it. Oh my God.
And etc. So being competent is important. And then after I promoted to SSD and was doing these coaching calls, I ended up retiring. So I left in 2018. I left nursing. I retired. Done. I got pregnant with my daughter that next year in 2019. And then the rest is history because right when she was born, 2020 happened. So that was fun for me. I had to pivot a lot. I had to.
That was fun for you. What about everybody else that had family members that passed away? What? That was fun for me. Oh, I don't like that. That is so gross. Also, you didn't retire. You just left nursing. You're still working. I don't like this. Not one bit.
Figure out different ways I was going to work, being now a mom of 2. And then my son was home for a little while when schools were closed down. And so I really had to make sure that I was continuing to sponsor as a lifestyle. I was continuing to keep the community up with leaders. So I would have events at my house, as some of you remember. So I was continuing.
During the pandemic? During the beginning of the pandemic? You were having events at your house with a newborn? Am I hearing that right? As a former nurse?
Continuing that community. And I think that is very, very key, is establishing the community within your team and within your leaders that they don't want to leave. Some will leave regardless, but that doesn't matter. Let them leave. But you.
Some are going to leave, but that doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, why do you have to constantly recruit? if people leaving doesn't matter, why? I don't think that's how that works. I don't think anybody here is really believing that, because if you didn't care that people were leaving, you wouldn't be so snarky, in my opinion. Shout out to the snark crew. I see y'all. You wouldn't be so snarky about having 6 directors instead of 4, because 2 just up and left. That's pretty crazy to me.
You want to build a community to where they feel valued and seen and loved, and they know that their leader is going to show up.
Yeah, you're showing up, but in my opinion, it's to manipulate them, like you've been doing this entire training.
Y'all know I'm going to show up. I'm going to be there, period. Regardless of my feelings, regardless of what's going on at home.
But didn't you just say to remove feelings like a few minutes ago from your business? You should remove your feelings. Now you're admitting that you have feelings, almost like you're a human.
Regardless of what's going on in my business, regardless of what's going on in my head, I'm going to be at World Tour. I'm going to be at SFR. It's a non-negotiable for me. I can't afford to not be there. That's my mentality. So here are a couple things that I do now that I wish that I knew then. Okay. Number 1, this is key, and we're almost done. Number 1.
Thank God.
Boundaries in your business are critical, not optional. Can I tell you a secret?
It's not a secret anymore.
But I'm going to be really honest.
Oh my God, here we go. Bring on the tough love. Bring on the fact that you are going to say, can I be honest? This is going to be tough. This might hurt some of you. You're just saying that because you want to be a jerk and say whatever you want to say. Again, that's my opinion. But I think people that are like, I'm going to give you some tough love. No, you just want to be able to say whatever you want to be a complete jerk. I'd like to say something else, but I'm not going to. Okay. Yikes. Thank you for this, the Ginger Unicorn. I appreciate you so much. Don't you know wax melts are the new essential oils? They cure everything except stupidity. Oh my God. Brace yourselves. I don't know what she's going to say, but it's probably going to be offensive. I'm just guessing. All right, here we go.
Your team doesn't care. You can think they care. You can think that they're your best friend. You can think that they're always going to be there for you. Listen to me. This is a business. Friendships are a bonus. They are not a necessity. Quit thinking you need a bunch of Scentsy friends in order to run a business.
Then stop calling your events family events. Then stop talking about the community and start talking about actual business training. Start teaching people how to study the analytics behind their social media pages. Start teaching people how to do profit and loss statements. Start treating this like an actual business. I mean, it's not. You're a 1099 contracted employee, and in my opinion, you're cosplaying as a business owner. But if you're going to have this posture, sorry, rank makers, former rank makers, if you're going to have this kind of, I'm going to say posture again. Sorry, friends. Then give business training. But see, like, you don't. All of this that we've watched for the last 32 minutes, the video, 32 minutes. We've been here a lot longer than that. Has been about recruiting and ranking up so that you can rank up, and then you flexing how you have made 6 figures, but you're not thanking the team that you made those 6 figures off of. Wild. Also, double speak much? Yeah. Actual cosplayers, we don't claim her, and you don't need to. Shout out to all the cosplayers. You guys are incredible with some of these. It's incredible what y'all do. I'll just say that. Yikes. Let's just keep going.
You need to be headstrong, disciplined, goal-oriented, and driven and consistent. That's how you build a business. I have let so many people in my past 10 years chew me up and spit me out. And guess who was the only one that hurt because she didn't have boundaries? Me. Guess who emotionally invested in things that didn't matter? Me.
I mean, the people that left, are you saying that you emotionally invested in them and they didn't matter because they left and are no longer making you money? And if so, now that's the hill you probably should die on. Yikes. That's icky.
If I can give you one tip, take emotions out of your business from the aspect of attaching success of you to the success of your team or what they think of you, etc.
That is a direct contradiction to the comp plan. You cannot be successful in the majority of MLMs, Scentsy included, unless your team is successful. And when I say successful, I mean recruiting. Not that that's the end all be all of success. I'm just using that as in this example. Remove emotions and attachments around your success. I think she worded it differently, but based off of other people's success. You can't rank up unless other people do.
You need to, as a leader, work your business consistently, set goals for yourself consistently, show up for your team and leaders consistently, and build leaders and rinse and repeat and take care of yourself. You do not owe your team or your leaders your life, your testimony, and your stories.
Lead with that same energy when you put up the recruiting posts, when you do the recruiting lives. Have that same energy around that, because what typically people in MLMs say is, I will help you. I will mentor you. If you are coachable, I will coach you. I will help you every step of the way. You are in business for yourself, but you're never by yourself. And then they get in, and because they're not doing things at the pace you want them to, or, and this is just my opinion, or they're not they're not recruiting enough, or they're not posting on social media enough, or they're not having enough bag parties, or they're not, building enough stock, or they're not having in-home parties, or they're not going live, or whatever, you remove that. So you bring them in under the guise of, we're going to lock arms. I'm going to help you with this. And then because they're not doing what you want them to do, you let go. That says a whole lot about your lack of leadership.
They do not get that because you are their leader. Do you understand?
Do you understand?
And you can build trust without exposing all of those things, because I want y'all to understand this. They do not care. They do not care. And I wish somebody told me that. And my husband tells me that all the time now. And I'm like, no, they care. No, they don't. No. But guess what? When you separate from that and you're like, hey, this is a business. These are my business hours. I'm not going to respond to somebody texting me with gossip or drama. I'm not going to get involved in that. I'm going to work my business. Then the conversation and the mental health is different. Then it's different. Quit investing into things that are not productive for your business or your life. Quit wanting it for people that don't want it for themselves. I see a lot of leaders invest in people that don't want it for themselves. It's only taking away.
And how do you determine if somebody doesn't want it for themselves? When they're not jumping when you tell them to jump? When they're not responding with how high? Is that how you determine people don't want it for themselves? Do you determine that people don't want it for themselves if they don't attend the events, if they're not on all the trainings, if they're not following the social media plan? Is that how you determine that? Because if so, that tracks. Yeah.
away from the 20 other people that you could be working with and building a business relationship with and giving them tools so they can be successful, because you're focused on the 3 people that are star consultants on your team that complain every single day and haven't been paid at title in months and can't sell worth of nothing. That's reality. Focus on what is going good and what opportunities lie ahead.
I know I've said this earlier. It's fascinating to me that she's trying to justify who to work with and not work with. I have to turn my ring light down in a minute. But I guarantee you, whatever those people are selling, she's still collecting that check on. I feel like she's just telling people, I don't care about you. And how confusing for these team members that were brought in with her saying, you know, we're going to lock arms. I'm here for you every step of the way. I'm going to walk you through it. It's all good. You know, you're not going to be alone. And then they get this because they're not doing what she wants them to do. This is embarrassing. I know that I've put out some really intense videos that are pulling the curtain back to what it's like being in an MLM. But this right here, I can't believe she posted this publicly, thinking like, here, this is how we do it. How is she not embarrassed? Remove your feelings, but you are using feelings and pain points to recruit people into this business. You're baiting and switching your people. They get in and they go, oh, this is not what I signed off for, which in my opinion is backed up 100% by that income disclosure statement. That's why there was only like, I don't know, what was it? 52,000, 59,000 in group 1 that were in all of 2021. And in group 2, there was 150 some that left that weren't in it the entire year. And I know there's a lot of factors within that, right? But it's because of stuff like this. People are being baited and switched. Is that how you say that? That's how we're going to say that tonight. Because of what you're saying on social media, what you're saying at the parties, what you're saying, you know, when you're dropping off bag parties. How embarrassing.
Have boundaries.
I'm going to play this, but I'm going to turn my light down a little bit.
Number 2, I did this before, but I just want to re-emphasize it. Focus on discipline and growing that muscle. Grow that muscle in all areas of activity. Okay.
That's better.
So discipline in your health, discipline in your business, discipline in relationships, discipline in, if you're a mother or a father. So being disciplined in the things that are going to create peace in your life, but also productivity in your life. Number 3, you don't have to do it all, but you need to focus on what matters. Too many people are doing it all and they're not focusing on what matters.
Yeah. And you know why people are doing it all is because they're coached to do all the things.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Get off the Facebook pages and book parties. Have conversations, sponsor people, tell them that they can get the kit this month, right? The enhanced kit. Have conversations. Book home parties. Have a different conversation with your follow-up. Stop having the same conversation over and over and over without challenging yourself.
You know what conversation, if you are in her downline, that you should be asking her about? Ask her about the specific numbers on the income disclosure statement. Ask her about her profit and loss statement. Ask her all of those questions that are just like that, because her true colors will be revealed, in my opinion. I definitely will be covering this person more just from a leadership standpoint. This is not leadership. If you are in her downline, if you are a customer of this person, you guys do not deserve this. One thing I know is that people in multi-level marketing companies work extremely hard trying to make it work. And when you get on a training and you're met with this kind of garbage, and I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about the content that the training that she is giving. I'm not talking about her personally. What is coming out of her mouth is absolute vile garbage. What is coming out of her mouth is trying to get her audience to do more work through shame and spiritual manipulation and everything else that we've already seen. If you are in this person's downline, you deserve better. Please get out of this person's downline. Please get away from multi-level marketing as a whole. No, that person that's in your inbox, that's from another company, it's not going to be different. The grass is not greener on the other side. It's the business model that is the problem. So if you are in this person's downline and you've been on trainings like this that she's done, and you're like, this makes me really uncomfortable, and you get that pit in your stomach and you're like, something doesn't feel right, get out. Get out, stop ordering, cancel your distributorship, get away, sell your stock somehow. You don't deserve this. This is not leadership.
It changes when you change. The change isn't going to happen until you make the change. And so focusing on what matters is critical. Okay. Samples to me are fluff. That's the last thing I'm going to do every time. For me, it's PRV sponsoring leadership, PRV sponsoring leadership, PRV sponsoring leadership. That's it. Okay. Samples happen when I don't got a dang thing to do. And I've had all my conversations. Okay. Number 4, evolving and change is a good thing, and it's constant. I wish that I knew back then that so much would change now.
You know what kind of change is really great? When people get out of multi-level marketing and they step away and they have actual time freedom, and they ask themselves what they actually want to do that day. Maybe they start a 9-to-5 job and they see that they're getting paid for their time. They have, actual time freedom. And when I say that, I mean, they go to work, they do their job, and they go home and they don't have to think about their job. In an MLM, you're thinking about either marketing ideas or how you can sell more, how you can recruit more constantly. It never stops. And that taking that real estate back, and I say real estate, but I'm talking about like that space in your brain where you're not constantly trying to think about how you can sell more or recruit more or do different things on social media or make different, that is freedom. So the change that's really good is when people get out of multi-level marketing and they're able to finally heal. Doesn't matter how long they've been in. Doesn't matter if they've been in for a month, a year, 10 years, whatever. There's healing that has to happen because they are subjected to stuff like this. There's healing that has to happen because of the indoctrination events that they attend. And they're both a victim. And in some circumstances, like me, you were also the perpetrator. You were duped into this through pain points. And then you're trying to do what you think is successful. You're trying to recruit people so that you become the perpetrator. And there's a lot of healing around that aspect that's really hard. There's a lot of shame around that aspect that you have to work through. It's one of the reasons that I periodically will react to some of my old some of my old MLM content, is because I was a victim and I also was perpetrating this. I was the predator in a sense, and we've got to talk about that. And the reason I talk about that is because it's important for those that were in it for any amount of time, that were recruiting and attempting to sell or whatnot, to understand that, yeah, you did that. You participated in it. I did too. And we can talk about it and we can heal from that. So if you're in this person's downline, there's, in my opinion, going to be healing that has to happen because you've been subjected to stuff like this. I can't imagine what this person is like in chats. I can't imagine what this person is like behind the scenes. This is something she posted publicly.
I wish I understood that. But as a nurse,
thank you, Brandon,
in my career, things weren't really going to change. I was still going to be a registered nurse. I may change floors or get floated, but my job and what my responsibility was always going to be the same. Not that way in Scentsy.
Jen, wait. I remember that video, and she had the pegboard behind her with all kinds of stock. I remember this. It was a while ago. Erin did a video with a blonde who had a bunch of stock. That girl is in her downline and they don't talk at all. Remember, she was talking about drama. She was talking about doing her own thing. I wonder if there was like some beef between these two. And I bet you anything, she still collects the money from that girl, that woman. Bet you she does without a second thought. Oh, this makes sense.
Things are constantly changing and evolving, and that's what you want. Change is good.
Thank
Every
you,
day
Gary
the
Glam.
world
I appreciate
changes.
you.
So get up in that and get uncomfortable. A lot of people don't like change. I understand that, but you have to embrace change and understand that the company is going to change, the products are going to change, the people are going to change.
I've also heard the product has changed pretty significantly. I've heard that the scent does not last near as long. I don't recall, somebody messaged me. I don't recall when they think that that changed or the formula changed or there was talk about that. I'm not really sure, but I have heard that the scents do not last as long, which when you're thinking about it from like if I were an MLM company's CEO, I'd be like, well, let's change the formula and not put so much scent in it. So people have to keep reordering. They have to keep changing their wax and they have to keep adding more and more and more, meaning they're going to consume more product, which means they have to order more. Shady.
People, team, customers, leaders, etc. All of it's going to revolve and it may not always come back. And I mean that in a way of sometimes in our business, we take the bad party that flopped or the team member that didn't do anything. And a lot of people look at that and it discourages you and makes you not want to run. I want you to double that effort and get 2 more recruits for every recruit that doesn't do anything.
Oh,
that's
my
the mentality
God.
That
is the first time that she has said recruit in this entire video. It's been sponsoring prior to this. Did you guys notice that? Wow. For every person that does nothing, you need to get 2 more. But remember, she was like, listen, here's the formula 2 by 2 by 2. 2 per month, 2,000 in volume in PRV, personal. Yeah, PRV, personal volume. We'll just say that for 2 years. But see how this has changed? She started saying 2 by 2 by 2. Now she's like, well, some will, some won't. So what? That's essentially what she's saying here. And for those people that don't do anything, meaning you're not making any money off of them, you need to recruit 2 more people. So funny how this has all changed when people either leave or they're, not making any money. They're not doing anything according to her. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like the bottom line is the money that she makes, which actually is the title of this video. It's similar. How I made 6 figures in Scentsy. How I made 6 figures in Scentsy. That's what she has this titled. So it's almost like she's saying the quiet parts out loud as we've seen this entire video. So thanks for putting this out publicly.
Wealth is built on. That's the mentality. My dad told me right when I really started this business, and it was like the greatest thing he ever said. He told me, Chloe, don't focus on the business. Don't focus on like growing the business necessarily. He said, focus on the people and the people are going to change your business. I have always
focus on the people and the people will change your business, but you're telling your audience, primarily your team members and now all of my friends here, hi friends, that you should remove feelings and that you should recruit because some people are not going to do anything. This whole video has been one giant contradiction after another from her. You can't be about the people and treat them this way. Because if you really, in my opinion, cared about people, you wouldn't talk to them this way. You wouldn't have this posture. You wouldn't have even done this training in this way. Because at the end of the day, the only way that you are making 6 figures is off of your team. So this would have been titled, good Lord, how recruiting in Scentsy has made me 6 figures. Because I know you're not making a ton off of the sale of the product, just like we see in every other MLM.
Always been focused on the people, always been focused on the one customer, always been focused on that new team member, always been focused on my leaders trying to evolve. We're about to have a new leadership page, a new team.
Oh my God, Cindy. Yes, this is awesome. I just stepped out this past week. I'm feeling so free. I'm feeling disturbed watching this and trying not to blame myself for being so stupid. You're not stupid. You are not stupid. You are not a failure. The business model is designed for people, for the majority of people to fail. So thank you for this comment. Stuff like this is so incredible for myself and other content creators that are speaking out against MLMs, because y'all don't see the stuff that happens behind the scenes. And I'm not saying that like, look at me, look what I'm doing. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. There's a lot of time and energy and research that goes behind the scenes, goes on behind the scenes. And I really do try to keep up with messages. I really do try to encourage people as much as I can. I really do try to educate, whether it's publicly like this or just behind the scenes and people are sharing their feelings with me privately that I won't share unless they give me permission to share. These types of messages are important. If you are somebody that got out of an MLM because you watched videos from your favorite content creator or whoever's talking about the company that you were a part of, please message them. They may or may not respond, but eventually they're going to see the message. And I think it's really, really important that is told to them, because stuff like this is what keeps people like myself going, and educating and doing it in a compassionate way. I think it's really, really, really important because of stuff like this. Again, I'm not talking about this person as a person. I'm talking about what she is doing and what she is saying, and specifically what she's subjecting her downline and potential team members to. These are all very important things. And then I sprinkle it, as you guys know, with my own experience and my own atrocities that I created, that I committed while I was in an MLM, even though at the time I didn't feel that's what was happening. That's what was happening. So anyways, Cindy, congratulations. This is incredible. I'm so glad you got out of that MLM. I'm so glad that you're experiencing time freedom. I understand exactly how you feel. I understand the shame that you're probably feeling. I understand how you feel about blaming yourself. I don't want you to skip over those feelings, but please just know that you are not stupid. You are not. You know better, and now you're doing better. And I think that's awesome. Also, that quote from Maya Angelou, oh, when you know better, you do better, right? And that's what we're doing here. So thank you for sharing that with us. I know I'm really long-winded tonight. This kind of stuff pisses me off because it's not leadership. This is not it.
Team page. Y'all know how much work that is for me? But guess what? And when I do it, it's going to be so much easier for y'all to find resources and tools, and it's going to help you feel more like compatible and clear with your business, because clarity was something I needed this year. And so evolving is key. All right. Also, you don't have to do or be everything for everyone. If you are in that circle of chaos,
then stop telling people that that's what you're going to do in different words in your curiosity posts. Stop doing that then.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to keep answering texts at 10 o'clock at night or Facebook DMs or all the things. It's very, very self-destructive. And also you may be able to do it with a team of 50, maybe even 100, maybe 200. But once it gets on up there, you'll shut yourself in a dark room. And so understanding that you don't have to do and be everything for everybody, not only is it okay, but it's healthy. It's healthy. That's how healthy businesses are built. That's how people stay married. That's how people maintain sanity, is by understanding that.
That's how people stay married. I love how you're using a fallacy to try and justify your Scentsy MLM. Oh my God.
You don't have to make people's businesses work for them. They have to work. They're independent. But all of the tools and the resources and the community and all the things that you can offer or that you can have your director offer to your new team member, and you showing up for them, you being their leader, not your director, that's key. That's what's going to help you see success in your business. Help them find their way. This is something that I wish I knew then, but guess what? I did not, and I have grace for myself because I was just showing everybody what I was doing because it was working. But now what I'm focused on in leadership is showing them their way. I want to see what you want. If you're willing to work and you're not going to give me excuses because I can't do all that. If you're
So how are you going to help them find their way if you're going to say, if you're not going to give me excuses because I can't do all that? If you're going to help people find their way, maybe let's just run a quick little scenario. Let's just say maybe they don't want to do lives or they don't want to do in-person parties. Maybe they're not comfortable doing in-person parties. If they say to this person, hey, I don't really want to do in-person parties, she, in my opinion, is going to see that as an excuse. Oh, well, you don't want to work, so I'm not going to coach you. That person probably is going to leave the business. They're not going to stay in for very long. And then she's going to say, well, that person did nothing, so I'm going to recruit 2 more people in their place. Oh my God.
If you're willing to work, if you're willing to book the parties, if you're willing.
Thank you so much for this, Yvonne. Did you hear what she just said? If you're willing to book the parties. So like if you don't want to do parties, run that back what I just said. Okay. She was a nurse. That's scary. Yeah.
To have sponsoring conversations, let's figure out your way to do it. And that is my mentality going into 2023 with my personal leadership is I want to find your way. I want to find your best way to party. I want to find your best way to have sponsoring conversations. I want to have your best way to lead and to coach your people to help them get to where you got. So number 7, work to live and don't live to work. I lived to work for a long time. I gave a lot of people a lot. Don't do it. Work and be done with it. I promise you. Let me promise you something. Yes, if you have a full-time job and you want to build a 6-figure income, you will be the last one going to bed. You will be the earliest one waking up. But you won't be doing that forever. It gets me real emotional because I remember that time.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Hold on a second. I thought you said to remove the emotions from the business. So why are you getting emotional? Oh, we know that you're just trying to be emotional, in my opinion, to manipulate your audience. This is like some weird version of like the sandwich method where you say something good, you give constructive criticism, and then you say something good. This is you trying to say, hey, listen, I'm a real person. I have emotions. Even though you just told people to remove emotions from the business, you're going to tie them in so that you can manipulate them emotionally. Yeah, that's really gross. Really gross. Oh my God. Yeah, see, no emotions allowed. Oh, look at that. Emotions have entered the chat. Weird. Emotional manipulation. Couldn't have called that one. Yeah, we see it. Emotional manipulation, spiritual manipulation. In my opinion, there have been moments of actual abuse in this, verbal abuse. That's just my personal opinion. Wow.
And not once did I complain, but man, I was tired. And y'all don't even know. Half y'all didn't even know me. And the ones who were consultants, not once did I ever complain. Not once did I get up and talk crap on Facebook about how crappy my life was or talk on my team page. I got up and I did it. I did events where I sold 1 bulb. All those moments though, all that discipline has gotten my life to this place. And it's an incredible place to be. But
because of your team. She said she was getting emotional, but where are the tears at? Or are you just trying to say you're emotional. This is so weird.
You have to know when to cut it off. And I wish back then somebody told that 23, 24-year-old girl that it's okay. You don't have to keep answering everybody's texts. You don't have to get into that. You don't have to do that. Like, I wish somebody told me that. Like, do your work and then be done with it. Don't do all the extra. It's not worth it. Failure, number 8. Failure is a part of the game plan in any business. You're going to fail. Get used to it. I have people not reply every day. I have people tell me they don't want to do this every day, or a party flops. But that doesn't, we've got to grow a pair respectfully.
That's not respectfully. That's not respectfully. And also, the only reason you're saying that is so that when people are really struggling in their business, they're not seeing the results. They're, continuing to front load. They're making the sacrifices like she did at the beginning to drive to the event. The only reason you're saying all of this is to prevent them from actually questioning what's going on and using critical thinking around, hey, what am I participating in? What is this? I'm not making any money. Like, this doesn't make any sense. This is supposed to be a business. Like, but I have to follow these rules and guidelines, and like, none of this makes any sense. That's the only reason that you are saying that, is to keep people from critically thinking for themselves. Also, again, if you're in her downline, start asking some questions. Do a profit and loss statement. Look at your numbers. What are you spending? What's coming in, if anything? What are you being pressured to do? How are you being treated? How do you feel when you get off of the trainings? Start paying attention, because in my opinion, a lot of these companies and especially the leaders on these trainings, and just in general, they create this kind of chaos of constant work. And when you have this constant chaos, you don't have time to question how you're feeling. You don't have time to question what's going on, or, why am I feeling so frustrated? Why am I in a bad mood? I was recruited into this because I thought I could work this in the pockets of my day, but it feels like I'm fitting my life into the pockets of the day, and the MLM is taking over everything else. Start thinking about that. Start being present enough in your own body to ask yourself those questions. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Is this actually getting me the result, or is this busy work to prevent me from critically thinking? And I think you'll probably answer a lot of questions for yourself, because I know that there are going to be Scentsy distributors that maybe you're watching right now. Maybe you're watching the replay. Maybe you're in this person's downline. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. Feel free if you're like, I'm kind of confused. That's okay. I was too when I found anti-MLM content. Feel free to message me. Message me on Instagram. Tell me your story. You're not alone. And a lot of times when you get out or when you're questioning, they make you feel like you're alone because they've brought you in under the guise of this huge community. It's not a community. It's transactional relationships.
And understand that failure is normal for any business owner. Okay? Once you embrace the failure so you can fly, it's a beautiful feeling. Failure challenges me to go, okay, I've tried this for 90 days. This didn't work. Let me look at a different way to do it. That's the mindset of people who build wealth right there. Let me look at a different way. Not you're going to your sponsor, not you're going to a Facebook page. You're literally like, hey, what's my new plan? What's my new plan? What am I going to do?
I'm sorry. She's using the term wealth, but according to the income disclosure statement, as we saw earlier in this video, the median income for group 1, which were people that were in Scentsy for all 12 months of 2021, was just over $1,000. That's not wealth. And if you're making more than that, it's because you have a substantial team that are earning less than that $1,000. I think it was 152 for group 2. The majority of the team isn't making money. So if you're somebody that is in my opinion, you're in multi-level marketing and you're bragging about making 6 and 7 figure earners, or you're a 6 and 7 figure earner, whatever, how many of your team members are making money? Because I bet it matches up with the FTC statistic of 99.7% of people lose money or don't make any at all, so that you can sit here and say that you make all this money and you're proud of it. Also, embarrassing.
What am I going to do in my business? Okay, let me go on YouTube. Let me look up some different ways people party. Let me do a list of 100. Let me do a booking blitz. The flight is up to you, but you will be building the plane as you fly as a leader. Okay? And so, number 9, celebrate every win. I wish that I stopped trying to earn everything so hard without celebrating myself. Because I never used to celebrate myself. Earn a top trip, whatever. What's the next thing? Earn this, what's the next thing? Now, like when I just earned that past incentive, I was so proud of myself. I didn't need my husband to take me out to dinner, and he didn't. I didn't need a million people telling me how good I did. I stopped and celebrated myself. I don't need you guys or anybody else to validate my fulfillment of how hard I worked, but me. And that's also something else you need to understand as a leader. You're going to be alone a lot of times. You're going to have to learn how to celebrate yourself. You're going to have to learn to sit in it for a minute, but then be gangster and get back to work. But sit in those celebrations. Be proud of your sales when you have high sales. Be proud of your sponsoring. Be proud of that awesome new Teamy training that you created. Be proud of that. And number 10, remember why you started.
Yeah, you got to remember your why so that your upline can manipulate you, in my opinion. That's the only reason I feel like they ask that. Why do you have to have an emotionally charged reason to join a business? For the community, which is what they say a lot of people join for, because that's how they defend people not making a lot of money. Why do you have to have an emotionally charged reason if it's only for them to manipulate you to work harder, just like we've seen throughout this entire video? Isn't that fascinating? You need a why that makes you cry. Why? So you can manipulate me? It's a business. I thought we were removing emotions, according to her.
When your business gets hard, and it will, and I mean like hard. I mean like crying on the floor hard. When you get there, I want you to remember this. People only have control over what you give them control over. They do not care, and that's okay. This is leadership, School of Hard Knocks right here.
No, it's not.
You have to understand this. So you must remember why you started. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. I hope this encouraged you guys to.
This was helpful, but not in the way I think you wanted it to be.
Go out there and do it your way and realize that there's no one-way roadmap to get to a 6-figure income, but it takes simple disciplines done every day and very, very well. I know that you guys can be successful in your business. You guys can do anything you put your mind to and you're disciplined to, but the only.
I'm sorry, is this like another person than we've seen for the rest of the video? I'm confused, because this seems like a whole different person.
Only one that's going to be able to make the change that you'll see not now, but 2 years from now is you. So what are you going to do today that 2 years from now, your 2-year self is going to look back at this moment and be like, wow, we freaking did that.
Oh, that was the end of that, I guess. That was how she ended that. Wow, that was atrocious. Are you guys good? That was a whole lot. And I am definitely going to find other videos. If you have an experience with this individual, feel free to message me. If you are a part of her downline, we're a part of her downline, whatever, feel free to message me. If you have videos that you would like to see me react to, you can also message me. Yeah, all of that definitely could have been an email, but guys, don't join an MLM. Don't do that. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for liking the stream. Check to make sure you're subscribed. I had somebody just the other day say that YouTube unsubscribed them or something for some reason. So please make sure that you're subscribed. It helps me get the message out. Every comment helps get the message out. When I say message out, I mean people in this person's downline that feel like they're total failures, that are not, that don't deserve this. People that are considering joining this person's downline. They don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. And if you're looking for a dupe for Scentsy wax melts, if you go to my community post, there is a page that or a website, all the little things art.com, I think is what it is, but it is under a community page from this weekend. So if you would like to support a small business without buying Scentsy products, you can go to there. And I think there's some other websites in there as well. So this was rough. I'm going to go eat dinner with my family. I appreciate you guys so much, especially those of you that have watched all the way through. If you're watching the replay or that were here the whole time, y'all are the MVPs. Thank you so much. Share this out if you would like to, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.